Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Challenge 41 Wrap Up Podcast for episode 2. I am Brian Cohen. With me, as always, is my co-host, Ali Lasher. I have you.
I've been duped,
No.
and not like someone made like an Amazon version of me, and not like the format switch up. But I've been duped over a much more egregious offense.
Oh, no. By what? What happened?
Well, the title of this episode was "We Used to Hook Up," and I was
Mhm.
immediately in.
Right.
And then in watching the what happened with "We Used to Hook Up," I'm out. I thought I was going to enjoy that part of the episode.
I thought you were going to be, you said you're duped because of how much you fell in love with blue, and now here you are with the green bow, and like maybe in solidarity of like putting blue down. Sad to see blue
No,
go.
no, I'm here today rooting for the Jungle Man and the Janes, which is why the bow is green.
Is there any equivalent? I feel like all those, it's like, the Jungle Man and the Janes. There was, Who's Angels, Charlie's Angels. Is there an equivalent of like one woman, three man groups? Like, what would be that equivalent? Because we don't really see that too often, which I'm sure speaks to the
Brian brings
patriarchy.
the
But I'm just
patriarchy
curious.
down, baby.
Like, what is there an
Yeah.
equivalent? Like, what would be like the go-to one?
3 men.
Yeah, just
And
like
like
3 or
Goldilocks
4.
and the 3 bears. I think one of
I guess
those bears
so.
is a woman.
It's Goldilocks. We'll look out for the Goldilocks alliance. We'll look out for that.
Yeah. I guess kudos to Jeremy for not making it like Charlie's Angels. Like that was right there.
Right.
He was making it about himself.
Jeremy's
What I
Angels.
loved about this, and I can't prove it if you ever talk to Dee, hopefully far, far into the season. My sense was Dee hated that name, but then when the other women bought into it, she was like, I like that. I feel like her first face was like no.
Well, that's like, alliance building 101. Someone suggests a name, you don't poo-poo it, especially if, like, let them be the face of it, and you can just be, I'm just one of the Janes. I'm not even that threatening.
Yeah.
Great
Yeah,
spot.
so but I think the real dupification here is the format switch up that
A lot of changes.
I didn't see coming.
Yeah, so we knew going into this week the partners would be changing it up, but we find out again. We don't know if this is like now going to be every other week thing, like the coin toss. But we learned different power for the winning team, much different power, and then like a much different voting structure for the jury, or at least options. And then going forward, it resets. So I don't know if this is now like a 2-week thing, the same thing every 2 weeks, or was that first week just like a random thing of saving the team? It's only, typical challenge. 2 weeks in, we don't have a complete lock on the format, but it's not what we thought it was coming out of episode 1.
Yeah, so let's play that out. So everyone's going to pick teams. There's a first, like, we don't know, because I still think next week is most likely to be in the same order of like the order you finished the last challenge.
Yes, that was the other thing.
But
we figured out how to pick partners. Yep.
There was a lot of buzz in the chat and the comments, the Facebook group about, I think the points will determine the order picking. I think, that's something they could change next week, because like it technically was the points because it was like the order they finished. I still think it's going to be a week to week order they finish the challenge, because A, too many people have the same number of points. B, we get a soundbite of Anissa kind of being like, I'll have to worry about getting those points for the final. I think they're dropping in sound bites that suggest the points are more further down the road than week to week. But I think we thought that, or one of us thought there would be more of like a schoolyard style pick of D and Bananas would start it off, and then the pair disrupted would get to go from there. Not quite how it happens. Do you like the picking order of just order you finish in the challenge?
Yeah, I mean, at least it keeps it consistent, right? I mean, that's how it was from the episode 0 challenge. It was the order from that, picking on down, and then if you got picked, it kind of skipped you along the way. It just went to the next person. So I think it's good to keep some consistency, but I think the extra layer of this that I think is going to have to get sorted out is, so like, once again, you have to pick, I think the way TJ describes it, as the opposite stripe, meaning like rookie man has to be with vet woman. But at a certain point, that can't, I think it's starting like next week, that can't happen, because we're out a rookie Well, I guess actually it still could happen because we're at a vet
Yeah.
man and a rookie woman. But at some point, the numbers aren't going to even up. So I don't know if like the last people left could just be mushed together, or do the first person pick can pick whoever, or at what point does that go away? Because at some point, um, you can't match up anymore. It's not going to be evenly distributed.
Yeah, it will be interesting to see how that shakes out. I'm trying to think, and no mention of, you can't pick someone you had before, which honestly, thank God, it's already too complicated. Like, it seems like if Dee and Bananas want to link up again next week, they can.
You can't pick the same person back to back weeks, I guess.
Right, but like but yeah. I'm trying to think if I care if, like, what I understand the theme of this is new threats versus vets, whatever. Considering they're changing week to week, I feel like I really wouldn't care if they just like let them be co-ed teams of mixed vet, new threat, whatever pairings.
Yeah. Yeah, I think because it's changing, I wouldn't care either. I think the worry if you have it going in is like, I think we've had it before where it's just like the two rookie teams are just like a rookie pair is such an obvious target. But if it's changing every week anyway, and already you're seeing the rookies kind of starting to blend in and make some new alliances anyway, I don't think it's going to be that big of a deal if there's like a rookie team, especially every other week. Only one person is going in anyway. So if you want to target a rookie, you could just target the rookie with the vet as a pair anyway. It doesn't really matter. Obviously, making them the hanging Chad is kind of a problem, but for the week where it's not like it's not that big of a deal on like those hanging Chad weeks.
It is and it isn't. To me, it wouldn't be such a big deal if more than just the winning team. So jumping ahead, the winning team in this week where there's Hangnail is like the winning team, instead of saving a team, is nominating a team to go up against in a jury vote to go up against the Hangnail. So like if they leave a Bananas or a vet as the hangnail or the hanging whatever, Chad, whatever you're going to call it, and then like a rookie team wins and has power, then it is like a massive deal, right? That person was vulnerable because you're limiting the amount of people that are even up for debate of going in.
Sure. Yeah. No, there's ways that could go bad, but it's not as bad as it would normally be. I just wish they kept the partners. Like that's the biggest thing. Like I know they have to make the season 20 episodes, but they had such a good thing going with these pairs. Like they were all pretty evenly matched. There was no like massive, heavyweight threat. Like the storylines were already being built. I don't know. Just make it a 12 episode season. I feel like it would have been like a great season if they just kept the pairs, and now it's like they have to mix and match and fit a square peg into a round hole type thing here.
Yeah, I wouldn't even mind if they still did single eliminations, but they just kind of closed the loop without switching all the teams like they did in the past, where it's like, okay, Justin wins and he can either match with Adrian or stay with his partner, even if they just did it those two and you couldn't just pick anyone. And then maybe we're switching one or two teams every week max and we're moving on.
Yeah, but I don't want to like poo-poo the season too much because I did have a lot of fun this episode. There's a lot of good things about it, a lot of fun dynamics, a lot of throwback fights.
Very vintage.
Great. Yeah, very vintage challenge, which was great to see. So I don't want to I was very high last week. I'm still pretty high on the season because I do think the crop of newbies they brought in, I think are all bringing different things to the table. So I think it's a good crop. I just think they're it's kind of like Survivor, like doing too much. It's like trust the cast, like trust the format to play out how you want to create a good season, and they're trying to like put their thumb on the scale a little bit.
Yeah, just to finish, I know what I just said didn't make sense of like just picking one or two teams. You still have the hanging person out there. I think I would have. I mean, we'll see how it plays out. I would have preferred. I think if it was what we speculated last week, I thought Adrian would just be like at the mercy of the house in the jury, and she'd just have the penalty of like being the easiest potential like vote in without having to make anyone else vulnerable. And I honestly think like that's enough of a penalty, especially because you never had the opportunity. I think Izzy's getting at this when she votes to put in Tay instead of Adrian, is like, it's not Adrian's fault she's down here because of her challenge performance because of her injury. I really think it's not Adrian's fault she's down here because she didn't lose the elimination. Like she didn't get to compete. Perhaps if she competed, she would have won and not been vulnerable like the next week, whatever. So I think it's like enough of a fake penalty to not be able to compete, not be able to win and have power, and be like the easiest targeted person who's just doesn't have their like vet that they're connected to at all. And like that would have been, Dayanu. Like that would have been
Mm,
enough.
yeah, I don't think we would have been pushing, be like, oh, it's not enough of a penalty that she should have been like almost going in. Yeah, I think if she was just an extra vote that couldn't win her safety, didn't really have sway, was still like a conceivably an easy option to be tossing because I was like, oh, she didn't compete, just throw in. I think we all would have been fine with that to go the extra mile here. I guess it adds the stakes to like next week who you vote in, like whether it's a male or female day, their counterpart, it does matter because you are setting them up potentially to go in the following week, which could set up, some more strategic thinking of like a double move. Like if you want to get two, if there's a UK pair that you want out, it would make sense to throw them in because now you can get them both out back to back. You get one out here, you get the other one as the hanging chad, and then they go in the next week. So I think it makes sense to it. The more I talk about it, I think it's fun that there's an extra dynamic to it actually because it does add the stakes for the even weeks.
Well, this is my question. This is going to be a question to you. Is like, do you think the challenge contestants, besides maybe one or two people, will successfully strategize 2 weeks in advance? Because it would be interesting to see that, but I don't know how much faith I have in the average challenge contestant to do that level of thinking. And with votes this close, I mean, we saw like an overwhelming majority in this vote, but the way we're like viewing the episode, or the way we're being shown how the house is, there are two dueling factions. I think like I don't know if we're gonna successfully see them like really work 2-3 weeks out. And then also like the way the winning team has power in the B week, let's say the A week, the B week, like the second week of the segment.
Yep.
In the B week, the winning team like matters so much to the success of like a strategy like that. It's just so hard to control for. And nobody's gonna want to like throw it because everybody's already incentivized enough to the order you finish in. Not only do you get the 8 points, 8 through 1 if you're in the top 8, but now you have an incentive to just like come in 13th and not 16th or not 15th because you want to pick your partner in a better order. So
yeah,
I hope we see people like try to figure that out, but it's hard. Like I'm not even dogging the challenge contestants. I think this is like a pretty convoluted, to have the format switch off AB weeks is pretty.
It is
kind of hard to get your head around.
Yeah, and I wouldn't even say it would. Yeah, to your point of like it all depends on that who wins the next week. I don't know if you necessarily are even thinking the 2 steps ahead anyway. I think it's more so it adds the stakes for like a CT that we saw last week where it's like I'm not going to vote in Kara's partner because I don't want to leave Kara out to dry when we didn't really know if that meant anything.
Right.
Now it makes sense. Like, so yeah, CT's not going to vote in Kara's partner just to get whoever's Kara's partner is because he doesn't want to risk Kara being such an open target the following week. So I think it adds stakes of like, you can't just like throw out a target. Like if there's a rookie with a vet, you can't just focus on going at the rookie with like, it doesn't matter that they're with Michaela. It doesn't matter they're with Olivia if you want to save one of them. There is a consequence to that vote because they are like prime front and center to be targeted the next week if they're the hanging. I should stop calling it the hanging. The hanging.
What do you? It's interesting because I see that. I'll be the pessimist on this. I worry that will block good moves more than it will make for interesting TV for that reason. But we'll see. It, very ironically, jumping ahead, didn't help Derek see one iota. Like the man who ruined his reputation on the challenge last week to save Kara got every single vote besides America. So that he did not see that come back and pay off for him.
Yeah, although I think the B week, there is no consequence to the partner. Like that's the thing. There's like whoever the partner is.
I guess that's true, but I guess they figured that.
Yeah.
Because it would be even. All right, fine. See, it's confusing to me. Maybe I'm like dogging the challenge, but it's me. It's me. It's live. I haven't had time to think about this enough. No. I'm gonna struggle, but it's like you've got to bring your like survivor level analysis to the challenge, which like as much as I've complained that the challenge isn't that strategic, is easier to podcast when it's not. But master strategist Leroy is there, so like I'm fine to try to keep up.
Yeah. Leroy and Kara, known puzzle kings, kings and queens on the challenge. But the other piece we find out, going back to the point system. So Justin wins the elimination last week, gets 2 points added to the total. It's hard to know if that's fair or should it be more because we have no concept of how much these points matter. It probably should be more. I feel like it probably should be 4 points, maybe like half of a daily win should be the equivalent of elimination win. I don't know, but he gets 2 points. Good for him. And Anissa, really strong analysis after all her years of doing this. The points are going to mean something. That's why they pay Anissa the big bucks on these shows, baby.
I think it's helpful. I think it's an indication because she says she talks about it for the final. I think that is like an editing clue to say, don't necessarily like freak out about these week to week audience, but like this will return in the final. Mm-hmm. I mean, who knows?
We also don't know yet. I don't think I don't think Blue got any points last week, right? Like I was gonna say, we don't know if you can like will your points to people still in the game. So we need to get a sense of that. I feel like if that was part of the game, we would have heard it be like, well, you don't have any points, so you don't get to will them on. So I'm gonna guess like if you leave, your points just leave with you. But I guess that's theoretically still to be determined.
I hope that you can't, because to me they're calling these performance points. Mm-hmm. And, like that to me, not the most clever name, but like that to me says what it is. It's like based on how you perform in the dailies and the eliminations versus the karma points, which were like doled out. I think if you can will your performance points, it's kind of bullshit. I wouldn't be surprised if they do, but just like if the point is to honor the performance, it's not necessarily, there's enough social strategy going on with the format where we don't need to will points.
Totally. No, I agree.
Talking about the matchups, I mean, it's like not even worth like saying who matched with who because it's like really so irrelevant.
Yeah.
But do you think we will like see anyone like try? I mean, I think Bananas picks Izzy, and that to me like jumps out as one of the most strategic picks of like, I'm going to pick a strong woman who's also in the other alliance. So I'm like kind of covering my bases. Obviously it's a Women's Day, but who knows, whatever. So bridging some gaps there as opposed to like D kind of staying within the family, picking Leroy. Do you think we will, especially as the numbers dwindle, see anybody like picking someone to then like saddle them on like if they know it's going to be a Women's Day? Mm-hmm. Like is Bananas picking Izzy and then throwing the challenge, not caring about the points?
Yeah, I think that's very possible. I think that could definitely be something that plays out. I also think I think that the way it's playing out, if there's like this A week, B week thing continues, I feel like the selections each week I would focus on different things. I think for the B week, because it seemed like there's no downside to voting in your partner if like it's not their day, I think you're purely voting for like someone who's strong as a good partner. But I think for like the A week, I think you're more trying to pick someone who's more socially well standing. Like I think for like the A week, I think I'd be more worried about being partnered with someone like Bananas, because even if it turns out to be a female week, they would still want to try to make Bananas like the hang now for the following week. So, but I give you for an A week, maybe you want to be with someone like a Leroy theoretically, who's like maybe more out of the drama, not really like involved in things like people aren't just going to target Leroy. So I think that could be the balance we see going, especially. And then when you're picking for the B week, you're going to really focus on your strength if it's like your gender going in that week for sure. So I think that's going to be more where the balance thing will kind of stick.
If they come out with the coin again next week, I'll be mad because it does make such a difference if your men's day is first or your women's day is first, that I think it should flip like women, men, men, women, women, men, men, women. Like it should be basically, the A week is women. The next A week should be men.
Right.
And continue to flip. I don't think they're going to do that. I think they're going to come out and
I think they're going to bring out the coin as well.
But it's irritating to me.
And I just said it was literally 1 week ago. They flipped the coin before the daily. They did it after the daily when someone won, but before the vote, right? Like that's when he flipped the coin.
Hold on, I didn't delete my notes from last week.
They flipped the coin.
But I did delete my notes from the premiere.
Tuesday. When did you flip the coin? He flipped the coin after the daily. So we had the winner. So going through the daily, no one knew.
Oh, right. He announced and then flipped the coin.
Yeah. So going through the daily, everyone's competing as if they could be up for elimination. And then he flips the coin. And it's declared.
So then you can't. So maybe that's how they're handling the fact that there's like an advantage week to week. Like, so you're picking partners, presumably, but maybe he'll come out and flip the coin at a different point now.
Right.
But presumably, if they don't know if it's a men's day or a women's day, they're picking partners next week blind.
Yeah. So regardless, you have to pick for strength, which is typically what we see on these type of things. Is like you want to have someone who's a good partner. The strong people come together, which we see with some of the rookies. Some of the strong rookies coming together, so it tracks.
I think you also want to pick a partner whose vote you think you can control.
That's it.
Like,
Yeah.
I'd be way more worried about controlling Izzy's votes than Tay's vote, potentially. Like, maybe you don't want somebody who's like so deep in the UK alliance that they'd be willing to throw themselves in and cause a stalemate, something like that, versus someone who's like, oh, in the alliance, but they met, maybe they met here, so it's not that strong, and you think you can like whip their vote.
Totally. We got a subtle, I think we got a subtle Mariah shout out with Kara's confessional, seeing D and Bananas beginning their flirt rants. Kara didn't specifically warn D, like warn the confessionals, like, just be careful, this could be your last challenge if you get caught up in Bananas' web, which I feel like is like a shout out to like we haven't, like, where's Mariah since the Mariah and Bananas things.
I think the list is long. To me, the most famous person who truncated their challenge career for Bananas is Morgan Willett. But yeah, Mariah certainly more recently, and she did. It made me go to the Reddit. I did a lot of social media combing of like,
fun,
what's going on. So I don't know if you saw this, but like Mariah apparently did tweet. This is like reposted from the Challenge Shade Room. Mariah said, I don't know why. I guess she was on the rumored castles for 41. So she was responding to that and said, I don't know why it says I'm going to be on season 41 because I am not, nor do I want to be. I have so many good things happening for me right now and love doing whatever I want when I want. There's so many other things I'd rather do. Side note, a certain someone would never do a season with me. Laugh, cry emoji.
Well, there you go.
I mean, this is according to the Reddit. I didn't go to her profile to confirm this was posted in January, but yeah, I mean, where's Natalie? You hook up with Bananas and you're done so. And that's not even like a rumor, right? Like him and Morgan, when they were still together, discussed it. Is like the second they started dating, that was her last season because he would rather his business not be on the show.
Right. Yeah, that seemed to be the case.
It's so frustrating. We'll talk a lot about D this episode, but you just hate to see like a dope woman with Bananas.
I do have more faith in D handling her business, though. Like, I just feel like she's more in control of this than Mariah or Natalie ever were on the show. So I give faith in more that D could come out, at least in this season. Who knows? Like,
but like, what does that mean? Like, Bananas, sorry to cut you off, but just like in defense of women, Bananas is so entrenched in the production of this show. And I don't think it's like Mariah can't handle her business or whatever. Mariah actually, I think, came away from that smelling like a rose. She wasn't with Bananas. She had another relationship that Bananas like sent all of his lackeys to like bitch at her about. I think Bananas looked so like stupid, very Will-esque in the Mariah Bananas relationship. And now Mariah's saying like, I'm not being invited back, or she's heavily implying she's not being asked back because Bananas won't do a season when she's on it. That to me is Bananas can't handle his business because it shouldn't really matter to him. If a very loose use of the term X of his is on the show.
Yeah, we haven't seen Corinne pop up in the challenge after his fling with on House of Villains.
But like that's what, like, what is Mariah supposed to do? I don't think she can do anything to control for her being on the show.
Could be a Bananas hopper, like Blue. Just hop from Derek to Derek, Bananas to Bananas.
No, but I'm serious. Like, what could what are they supposed to do? Or if your boyfriend, with like in the case of Morgan, is willing to truncate your position on the show and say like, this is my work, you stay home now.
Yeah, there's nothing to you. Just the Kara's point of view, you just avoid them. I guess you just
yeah.
That's what you do.
I'm so mad on Dee's behalf for this whole episode, so I'm a little hot. But before I dog Will later in the show, I want to dog him like right up front because, and this is like a little bit happened last week too with the discussion of Justin being a cheerleader, like that's a demerit. Will makes a comment like, "Oh, like we underestimated him because he's a cheerleader." Like, I think I missed the memo when like a cheerleader, especially a male cheerleader who like lifts or any, I guess women cheerleaders do this too, but like when you're like lifting another human who's a very muscular human, even if they're short, like straight over
Mm-hmm.
your head. I couldn't do that. This is like closest
Oh,
I'd get, just lifting my arms up.
it's George Costanza. He can lift 100 pounds right up over his head. No, but it's. I mean, look, we like there was a big Netflix show. It was a Cheer. I know that things got dark on that show, but like the men on that show were like super strong, super athletic, like super like they were doing as many things as you could do. And Cheer is probably one of the skill sets that almost most translates to the challenge because it's a lot of like athleticism, flexibility, balancing type thing. So I feel like a cheerleader would do great on a show like this in general, both men
Yeah,
and women.
we're finding out. Hopefully.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so let's get to the will of it all. First, we get Olivia and Anissa kind of like seemingly knowingly giving him little jabs of like, do you fancy anyone? Like,
Mm-hmm.
I think there's like one special girl. And Will drops a bomb that Dee and him used to hook up. So even before we get to like the Will reveal where he says, like, we hooked up at the hotel most recently,
Mm-hmm.
I went to the Google because I was like, I must have missed this famous Will from Ari the One hooking up with D, like rumor. And maybe now this is starting to make sense because when we did the preview of episode 0, I was like, of all the people from Ari the One that have been left behind, like, why this guy? Like, why
Right.
Will? Maybe this is why, oh, he has this pre-existing history with D. Like, okay, maybe now we're like telling a story. I cannot find one shred of evidence that him and D have ever been seen together, linked together. I went to his Instagram. Like, did he do any events? Has he kept himself relevant? Is he at Challenge Mania? Is he at Know It Alls? Is he at some Survivor thing? Cannot find anything about this. And the only conclusion I can come to is like, perhaps nobody in the world can recognize Will from Are You the One? So, like, there wouldn't be like any Reddit commentary on it if they've like been seen together.
The other part of it is it possible when he says they used to hook up, their hookup was just at the hotel before the season? It has to imply there was things before they even went out to film, right?
Yeah, if I hooked up with someone 3 days ago and they were like, we used to hook up, we weren't dating or anything, it was just like a hookup thing, I would call the authorities and be like, this person's stalking me because we hooked up once and he went on television and said we had a thing that wasn't dating, but it was just like a hookup thing.
Right.
That would be crazy.
It would
Yeah,
be.
like
That's why like
it's
it has
certainly
to be
possible.
before this. It has to be before this. Yeah.
I mean, but then here's the puzzling part about it, which makes me want to be like, I don't trust anything Will's saying. Is like D is saying nothing about this. D walks by this man like she made out with him once in a hotel. You know,
Right.
like she's like not like it's so unfathomable to her that like this issue is coming up. And I think I don't know, like if there was like a Michelle and Wendell style, we used to kick it. Maybe D would like give that
Speaking of
confessional.
Wendell's.
I'm not saying anything about that. I'm just saying, like, it would be bizarre. The whole thing is bizarre.
It's
And like,
bizarre.
I cannot understand where D and Will would have crossed paths in this lifetime.
Yeah, especially because it's not like D. Like D hasn't been around the reality TV world for that long. Like it's not like this started like by the time this film from like when Survivor, it's been at most like a year and a half. So it's not like D's been around since like Survivor 36, where they could have like crossed paths to so many different events. There's a very short window of time, unless somehow they were hooking up before either of them were on TV when they were just like regular people, which even would be even more mind-boggling. But it has to be in this like short window of time from like when D's season of Survivor came out and like now. But again, it's like there's no I don't know, the fact that there's no like social media trace of them. I guess yeah, like Will is a very matter of fact guy. It's like Are You the One is generating the Reddit clicks. So who knows if they would have even been like TMZ spotted.
comment below if like you went to high school with Will and D and they went to prom together. I don't understand. I'm willing to say it's like a failure on the edit that like we're being told they used to hook up. Now, what is not a failure on the edit is, you know, it would have been really helpful if in the Shane, Corey, Frank of it all, we like talked very openly about the hotel prior to a like the show. I appreciate that we're addressing that. Like, if they used to hook up, it's way different, right? Than like we used to hook up and we hooked up at the hotel 3 days ago. Then
Right.
perhaps like Will still to me looks absolutely crazy, but like, okay, it's a little fresher than he originally put forward when he said we used to hook up, which could have been 10 years ago.
Could have been. The whole timeline of them is very confusing. I look forward to it being handled at the reunion when we totally forgot this had happened after Will goes home next week.
This will live in my head rent free because I haven't stopped thinking about this. Like, I really just like don't understand at all. So like maybe next week, but like it does, to your point, seem to kind of open and close in this episode. Like Akiva has a rule on NGOG where it's like if a character like serves its full purpose on like the episode, you'll never see them again. But like, I don't know. I don't even remember his rule. It's been 5 years since we've been doing that podcast, but like he's really good at determining if like someone's storyline has like reached its natural conclusion
Right.
or if like they'll have to be back because of whatever happened. I do think like this Will and D blow up, you know, started and ended in this episode. We first found out about them having hooked up here, there, past, present, future, whatever. We saw his like massive blow up, and then we see him wake up and be like, I'm over it now. So maybe we won't hear from Dee's perspective anymore about it.
I think though more importantly, we heard from like Olivia and others being to the point of I don't really want Will as a partner because he seems like a bad partner. He's a huge
Sure.
target. So I think it's worth set up that next week if Will doesn't win, and it's a guy's day, he seems like a lock to be the one going in.
But it's interesting. Yes, from the Bananas and team folks, perhaps. But like for the Olivias who hate bananas, why would they get rid of Will? Like he's a soldier on their side now.
Because in her words, he's a selfish. He only looks out for himself competitor, which I don't really know what that means, but that's what she's worried about.
I don't know. I to me that's like more of a yeah. I mean, maybe she's worried that she'll be a target because Bananas and company will have power. But I think she's partnered with him right this week. Yeah, Olivia.
Well, we don't know the partners for next week.
Oh, right. But they were partnered this week, so they will not be partnered next week, confirmed.
Mm-hmm.
I just think like if he's a potential liability, if a D, Bananas and company are in power. If anyone else is in power who's anti-bananas, I don't know why they would waste time going after him.
It's an easy vote. It's an easy vote for sure. Obviously, you would want him on your side.
Easy votes. The UK, like they tried something last time, but it failed.
It failed, and that could scare them from trying to do something again.
Actually, it didn't fail. They got their Justin agenda passed.
The UK people did, yeah.
Yeah. True. So, time will tell.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I guess like more to wrap up the Will piece. Absolutely vintage to see drama on the bus.
It was great. Unbelievable. I mean, we can get to it at the bar scene also, but like the paying for the drinks came out. But
we have to discuss that in full.
Yeah, but like the bus scene. I mean, the bus scene was after the 2-for-1 drink, so I was already flying high of like old school drama. The fact that we had paying for your drink stuff, and then we're like getting bus cameras, and it's like, oh boy, this like Challenge 41 is really being a throwback season. This is great. Yeah, that was a lot of fun to have. It wasn't that long of a scene. I was expecting more when we got bus camera, and it was just like a quick like 20-second splurt of like Will like getting to rile himself up and played out more back at the house. Maybe they need to find a club further away. Like maybe they just like drive them too close to the bar. They need to find a place like a little further away to get them more time in the bus. But it was fun to see that the anger growing from there.
Yeah, and the person who thought it was the most fun was D, who I thought was like, oh, she's cracking up, but maybe it's like uncomfortable. You're a little drunk. It's uncomfortable. Then she gives the question like, no, don't confuse that. I think this is the most hilarious thing I've ever seen in my life.
Because they made out at a hotel bar before the season starts, and that's all it was.
If that's all it is, then I'm worried about Will. Like, I'm worried something more is going on with him personally. So, like, I hope he's well. But D's not even like with Bananas. It's like a 2x1 on the bus. Like, you'd think he's sitting behind them making out.
Right.
She's sitting arguably next to him in the seat across the aisle solo. And he's punching the back of the headrest in front of him. Poor
sometimes
guy.
Alcohol,
Again, I hope he's okay.
Alcohol isn't your friend sometimes.
No, alcohol is the enemy. Again, a vintage slogan of this podcast, coming in threefold this week. It was incredible. I do have to dog Justin. Like, calling D a homie hopper is like, grow up. 1, 2. Will and Bananas are not friends.
Right.
3, I still don't understand what happened between D and Will, if anything. Like, this is so, like, you will not make me anti-D from this bullshit amongst the men. And in fact, I love that she wasn't like trying to save face or care or scramble or comfort Will. She just goes to confessional and is like, men be terrible. Like, tease them and leave them, baby. And I was like, go off, D. I'm so glad she's not seemingly affected by this on the episode.
Yeah, this has been so far a very women-powered season. All the drama has been very much men focused, and it's been like the women being like, look at these freaking idiots, these buffoons that we have to deal with. Even when it's our day, we have to like watch them blow up at stupid things. So after the worm will probably turn later on, I guess, at some point, but it's right now it's the women holding strong.
I loved Lekka being like, first she's like, look, like, the respectful thing to do is like, don't air out this laundry, like, sleep on and talk to her. And then as he goes absolutely banana sandwiches, looking over the balcony at them, like laying on like a daybed or whatever. And she like is just trying to like, why are you acting like she's your girlfriend? You are not in love. Like, again, alcohol really being the enemy. I hope again something else isn't like impacting him more, because he really lost the plot on this.
Completely. He just was going further and further down a rabbit hole, and I was just waiting for the cut to the scene of him waking up the next day, like rehashing the horror that he did. I don't think it probably could have gotten worse, even. Like, there was no big specific blow up between him and Bananas or him and D. So that is like the one saving grace that saved him, but it wasn't great. Like, he made himself, like I said, I think he's like seems to be the number one target in the house going into the next men's week. We'll see if it plays out that way. Maybe his UK buddies can keep him out of it, but if even just 1 or 2 of them won't want anything to do with him after this, it's like an easy one just to cut bait with.
Once Will punched the wall so hard that his hand immediately started swelling, I was like, you know what? Kudos to Will. He deserves an award because he has made Bananas somehow look like not the worst choice for a showman's in the house. It's like, once you're making Bananas look good, by comparison, you got to go to bed. Time to go to bed.
Bedtime.
I hope more happens next week, if only because, like, Will is a little scary, and I don't think he did enough. Like, to wake up and be like, today's a new day, I'm going to move past it. It's like, I think he did so much, so like too much to just self-decide he's going to move past it. I do think like an apology is owed.
Yes. Probably. I don't know specifically to who. I guess to D, but he didn't really, it wasn't like too, like, maybe he's just to himself. He just acted like a clown. He just apologized to himself. Like, he didn't really like go out and like, I don't know. It wasn't the best look. He needs a couple days of like staying out of the limelight. I think that's his best apology tour he could try to do. But I don't think that's gonna happen.
Fair enough.
Daily.
Wait, really quick. The one thing say about the teams matching whatever is like, America. Do you think so? America picked CT and left Tay with Derek C last. Do you think that I'm trying to think, was Derek C and America were impaired, were they?
No, she was with Turbo.
Okay. Yeah. Do you think that that's because Derek C was looking like a target, like after the Justin thing?
No, I think it's just America,
Chauvin.
did a crash course on the show and is like, I'm going to pick CT when I get a chance to pick CT.
Okay, fair enough. Because CT does still fall to second to last pick.
Yeah, which just I still find crazy, but it's out of shape CT. Give it week 7, week 8, people will be clamoring to pick him.
All right, last thing before the daily. Jeremy does talk to D, Lekka, and Sydney about strategizing. As we said, I'm rooting for this. I'm all in on this newbie pair, new threat alliance. I like that they're stepping away from the vets and saying, let's get our own kind of thing going that's not just tied to the Olivia team or the Bananas team. I like that they recognize like they're not bringing in Izzy or the Brits, and like D and Jeremy kind of are this core too. They expand to like in Sydney. They declare themselves the 4 strongest rookies. I don't know that that's necessarily like de facto true, but these are 4 to watch for me. In addition to like maybe Izzy.
Yeah, I mean they're definitely in the mix. Whether they're definitively the top 4, they're the top 4 of 5, 4 of 6. So like they're very clearly some of the strongest rookies, and yeah, it's a good mix of people. I mean, it works out great for Jeremy to have like 3 women working with him for like days when if you can't save someone, like they maybe look to save Jeremy. So it works out for him. So kudos for him to kind of putting this together, and then we'll see if the women try to get another man or 2 on the alliance as well, just to try to give them a little bit more of a balance of power as well too. So, but it looks like a very strong foursome.
It worked for Bananas on 40.
Yeah,
the Bananas Angels.
Absolutely, 100%.
All right, we could go to the daily now. No more. Without further ado, I did like the shout out from Ashley of declaring TJ date night TJ at the start.
Yep, like that. TJ gets the shout out from Millionaire Mitchell. She knows what $1 million looks like. The challenge side by side this week, or side by side this week. The pairs are going to have to stand in like a mud area, dirt area, look up, watch as side by sides, which I guess that's what they're called. I've never heard those, just cars, are be driving and flying over the top of them. They have to look up and see a code underneath the car, and then they have to recreate the code and the pattern onto their station. But the twist being, they didn't really have to do any of that. There's kind of more of a pattern you can just kind of create based off what the pieces you're kind of given, or you were maybe you had to do it a couple times, but it was not more of a memorization thing. It was more of like a puzzle solving thing.
Yeah, I got faked out here too because I was ready to complain. It's like I gave you the helicopters last week. Now I'm pissed because I don't want like 2 cars jumping over a dirt bridge and each team's going to have to go like one at a time. Then I'm like, oh no, they're all going at the same time. Still like not my favorite use of pretty much like if somebody else is driving the vehicle, I don't really want the vehicle in the challenge. But once I found out that was like a diversion, I mean, it wasn't a diversion. You could do the puzzle that way, or you could figure out the puzzle. Then I liked it. I was like, oh, that's fun. They've built trust. Mom and Pop's plan was to build trust that these ridiculous like 16 wheelers and dirt jumping cars are always part of the challenge. And actually now we're just owning it is form over substance. You don't actually need this car, and that's part of the challenge. So I ended up liking it.
Yeah, it was good. I was scared for that one dude who crashed his car. I'm glad, like, seemingly no one got hurt. They kind of like glossed over that, like, yada yada. They didn't really go back to see like if that guy's okay. I hope so.
But well, he started driving again, I think.
I don't know. The car was it like upside down at a certain point? I don't know if he got back on the road. I don't know.
Yeah, they flipped it over. I mean, well, also like I thought it was a stunt because the car flips after the first 8 go. So I was like, okay, like once they establish the points 1 to 8, they're gonna flip one of the cars and let you just run to it and look at the puzzle. And then I was like, oh no, like he flipped by accident. It wasn't intentional. And then it is like a question of like, why do they leave that in the edit? Like, look at how really dangerous this is.
Right.
Woo!
Yeah.
For the person you don't know driving the car.
Yeah. That was odd. I also thought it was odd. So Will talks about his memory being like, it's good sometimes. And his example is crosswords. I don't know if that's a memory game. Is that a memory game?
It isn't so much as you decide trivia is remembering the answers. Like remembering.
Right.
If you describe knowing answers to trivia as I have a good memory for facts.
Mm-hmm. I guess so. It just seemed like an odd example of talking about your
Definitely.
memory to do crosswords. Better than word searches, I guess. Because although a memory for words is kind of the same thing. I don't know. But then we see like a couple bad examples of people recognizing talents. D thinks Leroy is a good puzzler. Is not. And then an odd one that Gabe says that Kara is good at puzzles. The show seemingly confirms that. But my history of watching this show would say the opposite, that Kara is not famously not good at puzzles, and even more famously will freak out when her puzzle is not going right, and it will snowball from there and get worse. So I was confused by the edit to choose that Kara is good at puzzles.
Yeah, especially when she ends up coming in fourth to last place. So it's not
Right.
like they needed to build the case for her to eventually win the challenge.
Right.
Haters will say I have a memory for crosswords when it comes to challenge facts. But yeah, I didn't catch any of those because I was like too busy worrying about hating and then not hating the challenge.
Sure. Fair. Totally fair.
But
That's what I'm here for.
but it's also like I think I am more invested in like the actual challenge results than I normally would be because of this like point factor and the picking order. Like I think it is working to make me care more about the challenges, which kudos to them.
Yeah, and it has to make everyone else care more too. I mean, normally in this, if this was without the points, it's like we see the person who wins, and then second through 14th mean completely nothing, and it's just like, all right, let's just fast forward to see who's last. At least now there's some something that is worthy of like, ooh, Olivia and Will finish second. CT America finish. Is that going to matter? I don't know. We'll see what the points are. I think it matters a little bit.
Yeah, no, definitely. The only homie hopping I saw Dee doing is hopping over to her homie Lekka during the challenge after Turbo and Lekka win to like try to understand what's going on in the puzzle. We see Turbo tell her she can't do that and then gives a confessional about how like crazy it would be to cheat. Do you like would that be cheating?
It's a great question because skip ahead 2 seconds if you don't want to know anything in the trailer. There is something in the trailer that TJ calls out for cheating. And I thought this was where it was like going to happen right away. Well, we don't know what that's about yet. I don't think this is cheating because this is like everyone has the same puzzle. So you can also leave your puzzle. Like if you leave your puzzle there, people copy off you. That's very clearly a precedent is not cheating. Like you can like asking someone for help. I mean, obviously it's very in like eliminations. We see that. I don't know. It's not. I wouldn't say it's cheating. That was a long-winded answer to say no. I don't think it's cheating.
I agree. I don't think it's cheating. And also, like, if it's cheating, then TJ's got to blow that horn the second she goes over to her and either get her back or determine she has cheated and then therefore they're disqualified. Like, if it's cheating, like, why is Turbo the enforcer? Like, he's worried he's going to get disqualified for like a helping D. I would believe it. Like, I would certainly believe that they let Turbo and like a help D and then say, you're both disqualified. But that was just like a confusing scene. And maybe that's why, because I haven't watched the trailer. So spoiler, I could have gone like, pulled my headphones off for 2 seconds. But no,
it's not the
maybe like it's Chekhov's cheating. It's like we're
that's what it seems like. This is
Chekhov's
cheating. Yeah. I don't know. Like it's there's got to be other examples of like someone individually asking for help in a deal. I mean, this isn't like a physical thing and it's like Lekka going back to like carry their plank or something like that. This is like helping with the puzzle. I guess because it's the difference there of like an elimination, you're shouting at it, everyone hears it. Here it's like more individual. They're just giving one person a tip. I don't know. I wouldn't say it's necessarily cheating, but honestly, if they called it like you can't do that, I also would be okay with that ruling as well.
Yeah, I think if I were, and it's where you were going with this too, if I were to like on the fly make a rule and make a judgment call, I would say if you have to leave your station or leave the like run of play, like area of play, then you shouldn't be able to do it. So like if you have to walk up to like, because they were like on a platform, right? If you have to scale someone else's platform to look at their puzzle, then you're not supposed to do that. But if you're running around gathering pieces and you have like free reign to kind of go look back and forth, then I'm fine with it.
Yeah, there was the crazy incident of like someone threw, like they were running up like a step thing to collect puzzle pieces. I think someone like threw their piece away, like right. That was like the only example I could think of that something was declared dead from like specifically cheating that I can remember. So yeah, we'll see what the Chekhov cheating comes out to, or it was just like, you know, a red herring that they tossed in the trailer. It's not actually going to play out. I don't know.
He might have been talking about Rogan.
Shout out for Turbo and Laka getting the win. Derek's coming in last with Blue and Tay, so not great for them. Not great for Derek. Derek's had a very, very bad season so far. He's getting in fights, coming in nearly last. I mean, the Derek stock has plummeted since the Challenge 40 final.
Yeah, definitely. The other person to drag here, I think Sydney, for someone who talks themselves up as I'm a genius, I'm a lawyer, I'm a puzzle whiz, coming in 10th, not a great showing. You want to probably at least come in the top 8 if it's, you know, the whole challenge is something you say you're good at.
Agreed. It was fun to see the wheel spinning for CT and Turbo close to like the same time. We got a CT pro tip: work smarter, not harder. And he, you know, seemingly him and Turbo both cracked the puzzle code around the same time. So shout out to them. And I guess for Olivia, I think she did it too and ended up beating CT in America. So shout out to Olivia too.
And Anissa, who's also Anissa and Will are also in that. So I think that's where Olivia and Will come in. At least in the edit was credited Anissa and Will also seeing it. So they finish all in the top 4. We can go over the quick standing of points after the challenge and this. Bananas leads, to your point of continuing to applaud. Bananas is the oldest, or I think he's second here. But he leads with 12. Izzy leads for the women with 10, and then there's a bunch of people with 8. So still kind of too close to call.
Very close to. I do think I remember seeing in the premiere they had the points. They have like a giant scoreboard in the house of everyone's name and stuff like that. So the points are also visible for everyone at all times. It's not something that people have to like keep track of in their head, which would go very.
Yeah, they showed it this week too, which is why I think it's. I don't think TJ actually uses the term. What did I call it? What is it called? Performance points. Yeah, but that's what like they're labeled in the house or the graphic or something. TJ's like too cool to call them performance points, which I agree with. All right, we talked about the format. Blue, when she says this is fine, I'm going in, but like I'm gonna talk to Leka and I'm gonna get who I want. And quote, I do not see a world, or I struggle to see a world where I don't come back. Boom, immediately throw out your blue ribbon. RIP, you done. I was like, that's it. We enjoyed her. She's gone.
Yeah. It also, look, I applaud Blue for like saying and putting herself up against someone who's seemingly the same size. It was very funny to have a confessional of her being like, I feel like I could beat anyone I want. And then but I really just want Tay because she's like close to the same size as me. Again, it's kind of like that. It's very similar to the Rogan of it all. Like Rogan being like, I can beat anyone, but also keep it the smallest guy here. It's fine. I get that. But don't give the false bravado of like, oh, I'll go against Kara if I have to. Like, no, be okay going against Tay. That's fine.
Yeah, the rest of the sentence is, I can beat anyone I want to go against, and I want to go against Tay. Like, asterisk. Right. Second club, second night out, second club, patio rodeo. Couldn't find it once again. But we get a toast from CT, which like, I'm a tired recycled toast from like your mom's kitchen towels, like over the oven.
And I gotta be honest,
that'd be kind of aggressive, but
like I didn't have subtitles, so I was watching this. I heard his toast. I'm like, oh, a toast, that's fun. I really tried to listen closely. I could not for the life. I even went back. I'm like, I didn't miss it, but let me give myself a second chance. Maybe my ear is not too keen to the accent, or like the accent was coming in extra strong with this toast, but I could not for the life of me understand at all what CT was saying in this toast.
Okay, so yeah, CT was hitting the 2-for-1s for sure, where he's made this toast. But I could hear the first part and then I just Googled it because it was very like the best ships a friendship. It was like one of those like, so I have the, so then I Googled the toast and then I was able to modify it to what CT actually said. So what he said was, here's to you and here's to me. Better friends will never be. And if we ever disagree, F you, here's to me.
Okay.
It's a loose adaptation of what the toast is.
Yeah.
But a little tired.
Mm-hmm. It was all right. So we saw some pitches coming around. Turbo kind of gave Lecca the green light to do what she wants, but just to keep these two girls safe in Nani and Kara. So I mean, we kind of knew he's like pretty close with Nani, given their like partnerships over the years. It was good to get like double confirmation that he's very close with Kara. So it's good to clock that. Kara's got some powerful friends with Turbo and CT going forward. So good for her. But yeah, so we get confirmation there with who Turbo's probably top 2 women are.
Yeah, and Turbo. I mean, I know like Turbo says things that are funny, I think unintentionally in seasons past. I didn't think I'd like see the day where like Turbo is just the comic relief of the season and not in the drama at all. I mean, I know it's only been a few episodes, but like he's got a bag of tricks and not in a Tony way, but like literal like bag of pranks and fun gadgets and toys he's brought from Amazon. And he's like, yeah, I'm yucking it up watching Turbo in the club, like with his accessories.
Yeah, it's almost like production and the cast, they just like exercise all their demons that like the time before 40 when he came on, and they just like put all of their vengeance into him, get him out like first or second. It was like very early. I think it might have been first. Like, we hate this guy, get him out. I feel like that did a lot of cleansing. I feel like everyone like got their anger out. They hated Turbo. He seemed like he hated all of them. Because even on 40, like he was mostly in good standing with a lot of people on All Stars, or maybe it was like All Stars. He was in good standing with a lot of people. Just Adam, but like that's okay.
And me, like now he's on Adam's side.
But all of a sudden he's like friendly and nice, and it's like I don't know, did like what happened with Turbo over the last couple of years that has really like mellowed him out? Like I'm sure, look, if you get in Turbo's face, it's probably not going to go very well for you, but he's not creating situations anymore. So I don't know who this new Turbo is, but it's it's putting himself in a great position to like maybe win this season.
I mean, it is interesting. Like, was Turbo, I guess I'm like looking quickly, like, was Turbo like ever suspended from the show or no? Because like he never really took that big of a hiatus.
I don't think ever officially. I think there was a thought that he was like never coming back, and that's when he came back on All Stars. It was like a shock to see him because we were like, oh, we thought Turbo was done forever, and he was just like on All Stars, and not 40. I think I said 40. I meant like All Stars, but I think the people were just shocked to see him because I don't think he did anything. There was never anything on the episodes that he did that was like so bad, but I think there was a lot of things behind the scenes that people were like, we just like can't deal with Turbo anymore. It's like we're just like everyone just feels so on edge. So that's why it was very surprising on All Stars. But he must have been pretty good to production on All Stars, and like things were like went pretty smoothly. And now he's just here.
Yeah. Things not going so smoothly for Derek, as you said, Derek C. So we see the confrontation between Derek C and Justin. And what I will say is I do think Justin has a right to feel hurt because from his perspective, and I think he starts to lay out this case very well of like, Derek had a very serious conversation with me that he didn't need to have, promised me I was safe with him, and then didn't even bother to say, hey, now I hear the votes are going a different way, so I'm not going to be able to help you, but I'm sorry about that. Justin may still have been mad if he said that, but like now he's able to say, well, you didn't even give me the courtesy of telling me. Will later makes that same case with D. Like, you didn't even give me the courtesy to say you're moving on to bananas. Where Justin's losing me a little bit, or not even losing me, because I think he's great TV, is more just like, how much of this is real hurt from Justin and how much of this is a man who's very successful at social media understanding like, hey, I have like something to make a meal of right now, and I'm going to lay into Derek at a TV level because he really comes for his wig. Like, Derek is just like snatchballed after this conversation.
Yeah, I think that's fair that like Justin saw an opportunity to have a scene here and took it. But I also think Derek didn't like handle it that great. Like he was very dismissive of the conversation, both in confessional and to him. I think more so in confessional, which is fine, which is where you should be more dismissive of someone. But I think if Derek fully just said to him, like, look, I'm sorry, like I probably shouldn't have promised you so much, knowing where my vote was probably gonna go. But I just like, we still be like friends, and maybe we like put this behind us and work together. But he was so dismissive of Justin, like to the point of him seemed like, oh, I've moved on in my challenge career. I have other people I can work with. I don't need someone like you. And like that just feels so counterintuitive to like the social persona that Derek has been building up. That like he should be the one that's like, always adding people, always needing more people on his side. So like, I don't even think Justin was too hard on him. I think Justin was ready, seemingly, to like hash it out as he should. It's like someone promises your vote goes against you, you have to have that conversation. But I think if Derek handles it differently, I think they at least to their face would be able to get on the same page. I think Derek was like pretty dismissive of him.
Yeah, it is interesting because I almost think having a huge blow up fight in the club, which is not what you're saying, but let's say like I do think what Justin was saying was antagonistic, right? He like calls him a liar. He says, if you're a liar, I don't want your friendship. Like you did something like totally 180 from something that was incredibly meaningful. Like I think he is like coming at him pretty aggressively. And like he's upset. I'm not saying he shouldn't be upset. But I think it was at best emotionally charged, at worst aggressive in this conversation. And I think if Derek in the scene of the club is not able to like remain calm and apologize or doesn't think he did anything wrong, which I would disagree with, I think the only way this was going to go was like escalation. So if that's true, I think he made the right decision to just kind of be like, okay, like if that's how you feel, that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
And moving on, because I think a public fight would have been worse for his stock. The best thing to do, I think, would have been what you're saying is like, apologize. I don't want to be in that situation again. I am on your back. I want to prove it to you, yada, 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 yada. Because the pairs shift too much to just cut bait on someone. It's not like
Mm-hmm.
he knows Justin's going to be working with the other side of the house and he'll never need him. So it's a sunk cost. Or worse, that he'd never actually be able to have his back because he'll always be opposite to Kara or someone else. Like that's not the case. So more friends is better than fewer.
Mm-hmm. And the best thing for Justin
Like,
is like Will making an ass of himself. So now he's
right.
like top of line target. And then even, which I'm sure we're probably about to get to, is Derek then turning his feuding over to Leo and them having a public fight over nonsense, but it's still a public fight. And like all of a sudden that pushes Leo up to like maybe more of a target and Derek up to more of a target. Now he's got multiple people coming for him. And now all of a sudden Leo and Justin have a common enemy that they can like start rallying votes behind. So a lot of things going Justin's way here.
Yeah. I don't know. From a just like interpersonal perspective, like if I was at the club and I was friends with Derek C, I'd respect that he just like walked away because I don't think like Justin really wanted to talk about it here. I think he wanted to like berate him, which I've been there. It was like watching me in the club. I respected it. But maybe I'm being too. I don't know. I'm starting to just feel a little bad for Derek. It's like he got his karma. We'll see what happens the rest of the season. But yeah, let's talk about my favorite fight of the night. Sounds like it was maybe up there for you too. The vintage bar tab fight, which I don't even think is like a bar tab fight. I think it's Leo conned him into buying him a drink, stole his drink, and then tried to play dumb. I don't understand how people weren't just like, Leo, go buy him a replacement drink.
I think that's what they were trying to say, but I think Leo was, multiple 2-for-1 drink specials deep, and those things were not the wires were getting crossed amongst a lot of people, and things were escalating very quickly. This was not like you're like, oh, Derek, I don't know. So if you're buying drinks, like someone's taking your 2-for-1, it's like, yeah, like what the hell, dude? Maybe buy me the next 2-for-1. And like if there is not a 2-for-1, then I don't want to be buying 2 for not 1, 2 for 2.
Yeah, and another place where Derek probably made the wrong choice because like you don't need to get like this mad about what is probably like $8 to $12, Like I'm not saying money doesn't matter, but just like you were gonna buy the drink, you lost one drink. Like I don't think you need like I think you could tell everyone this happened. But
Right.
Derek probably has some misdirected anger coming from like the Justin stuff. But it's a great scam. Like, I am gonna try this, like maybe on Jordan Kalish at the next like Survivor Bar thing. Like, you go up to him buying a drink and you're like, it's 2 for 1. So while Derek's like getting the attention of the bartender, you're like, I'm gonna take this one, it's 2 for 1, so you'll get the second one. And you walk away, you drink the drink, and then it's like, well,
Right.
now I had it. What do you want me to do? And Anissa, again, like voice of reason, a little too late, is like, but what I'm not understanding is, why did you think you were entitled to one of his 2 for 1?
It's a great question. Great question. And he said Leo escalates it even further, yelling at her face. And now all of a sudden Leo's, making himself public enemy number 2 after Will. Yeah, I mean, look, it's a great strategy. It's a very smart move if you want to like strike up a conversation with someone. Be like, oh, hey, it's a 2 for 1 drink. I'll buy you one, or I don't know. It's a great opener, even if it's not true. Just don't check your credit card statement later.
Yeah, in the club, we all fam. Like, give me
Right.
that drink. Like, you're gonna get another one for free. I'm gonna walk away with this one.
Right.
Brilliant.
Mhm. It was very fun to have that coming back though, and it's to the point of like, I'm glad they make them pay for their own drinks because it opens these things up. So good for them.
All right, let's talk about the strategic point of the drama-filled night. This is like a huge flip up for me for Adrian, that Blue, Adrian, and Lekka have a conversation all together where Blue tells Adrian, like, I don't want it to be you. I want it to be Tay. Don't worry, you'll be safe because it'll be Tay, one of your best friends. I guess good on Blue to have this conversation so that you're like controlling the narrative between the person in power, Lekka, and Adrian.
Yep.
Terrible for Adrian. Like, if I'm Adrian, I want to get Lekka alone yesterday.
Yeah, it's a tough balance because for Adrian, you don't want to push so hard. Like, yes, Tay's like a good friend and you want to try to protect her, but like Adrian's very much on thin ice. So like if you push too hard, all of a sudden Lekka will be like, screw it. Let's just make sure everyone votes for you instead. And I'll just have you go in. Like, sure, maybe you'll beat Blue or whatever. But you don't it's tough to push so hard. What she needed to take the step back and she needed to toss the reins over to Tay or even like Olivia. If Olivia's really trying to help with like the UK line, she needs to have someone who's not her catch wind of this and them lead the charge to like get someone else in. Because if Adrian pushes too hard, she could just be thrown in herself. So she needed someone else to really do a lot of the legwork for her. Because I don't think she was in the right position to sway the vote somewhere else.
The other hard part, though, is it's not a traditional campaign of it's me or her. So I'm, make a big move. What Adrian tries to say is like, make a big move. Like, you're playing too safe. Like, let's put a vet in. But like, then you're probably going in. So it's like, if you put a vet up, all the vets are probably going to use their agency to say it's too soon and sway their rookies into the votes. Like, the rookies are not at the point where they're going to stalemate, especially depending on who the vet is.
Nope.
And you're from Married First Sight. Like, you're connected, but you're not like that connected. So you're going to go in then. So it almost felt like Adrian like wasn't prepared, which is interesting because she's had like the entire day to prepare. She wasn't competing. She could just like think about what she would want to have happen here. She throws up Michaela for like terrible reasons, like who I'm the least close with, like not understanding that they clearly want to break up the UK alliance, so they'd be happy to keep a vet she's not close to. I do appreciate that Lekka just dismisses it as a non-starter, like doesn't even continue to entertain the discussion. It's just like, that's a wrap.
Yeah, I think Lekka handled herself very well, very well. This is a great episode for Lekka. We see her obviously with the Janes and the Tarzan alliance, comes into power here. She obviously the person she tosses in wins the elimination, which is great. But I don't think there's a lot of other fish to fry, so I don't think like too much of the blowback is going to be coming back on Lekka. I think she handled these conversations. I think about as well as you probably could.
Yeah, and I think that's what's great about Tay being the target is like you're targeting somebody already in the UK alliance, right? So like she wasn't working with you anyway. Whereas like Justin or, I guess Jake would have been in the UK alliance. Like Justin was sort of like on his own free agent. So like targeting him makes a new enemy out of him.
Totally. 100%.
All right. Just like pour one out for Naya, who desperately wants to kiss people, but like all the boys are too dumb to kiss, and like more sympathetic I could not be.
Yep, no one there for Naya. She's also again like her Chekhov knees coming back. I'm worried Naya might have to be pulled at some point from this game. This thing keeps getting worse and worse. She keeps bringing it back up. It's not good when an injury makes a second appearance or second episode appearance. So worried for Naya in that regard.
I think you're going to say Chekhov's vibrator.
Oh,
when we were talking about that scene with Naya, I was like, oh, okay. I didn't see that coming.
Could be that. You never know. Maybe they're connected somehow. Who knows? Anything else before the selection?
Rock and roll.
Very quick selection. Everyone votes for Tay. Interestingly, it was very funny. So America and Blue have a conversation, and Blue feels very good with like trusting America, and America is like the one vote not for who Blue wanted, it being Tay, because America was roomies with Tay, so wanted to respect that. I did find that kind of interesting.
For a non-Big Brother brand person, hearing Blue trusts America is like, my read on politics today is Blue doesn't really trust America at all. So like, okay. Yeah, it was interesting to see. So say that one more time because I got distracted by the politics.
Blue had a conversation with America.
Right.
And Blue felt great about America. Like, oh, this is my Big Brother homie. I can work with her. We're close.
Sure.
But America's literally the only person who didn't vote for who Blue wanted it, being Tay.
Right. Yeah, I would have to guess here that America and CT knew they were voting against party lines. And that was more of a symbolic friendship vote for Tay that Blue would be happy that she made. I don't think that was a real vote. You can't be connected to CT and have the vote go like 13-1 or whatever it is, 12-1, and not be aware that that's what's going to happen.
Sure. It is funny, though. Last time well, maybe not the last time, but one of the times these seasons split along country lines, like the US versus UK thing, CT famously was part of Team UK. So maybe he's trying to plant his little flag right back with the British, and him and Theo trying to stamp their way to the final.
Maybe. Maybe CT will run with the new threats when it is a team contest.
History doesn't always repeat, but it does rhyme. So here we are, and this season does rhyme.
Is that a well-known phrase?
I think so.
History doesn't repeat, but it does rhyme?
Yeah. It means it's not like always perfectly aligned with
oh, that's beautiful.
But it's like pretty similar.
Like slant rhyme.
Yeah.
That's depressing. But yes. Okay.
we're in some rhyming periods that we don't want to be in, but yeah.
Here's something. Here's something that's not blue or red. Neither blue nor red.
Sure.
Leroy last week made the brilliant pre-calculus that the safe team might not participate in the vote. So let's action that. Here, it's sort of like he was just a little off on what would happen here. And the team nominated Tay and Derek do not get a vote and are ripped away from the deliberation.
Right. If that just about sums up Leroy's challenge career perfectly. He's just like the right idea, just not the right time, and something went a little bit wrong for Leroy. And that just about sums it up.
And it's a little bit more obvious, right? That like, obviously their vote would be for the other person. So like Tay's not going to vote for herself. But it just even more to me emphasizes that the safe team during the A weeks should not be able to vote.
100%.
Especially how much more powerful the winning team is in the B week. Right. Now, I appreciate that everybody's eligible to compete who's not the hanging Chad. So like you could win 2 weeks in a row. So it's not like you can't be the head of household week 2 in the B week. And then it's like, oh, I had so much more power in B than A. But like, let's have a little bit of mirroring consistency. Like give a little bit more power to the winning team in A and let them silence one of the teams.
Couldn't agree more.
All right, let's go to the arena. Club number 3, the arena. Couldn't find it on the map of Chile either.
I did like, just quickly jumping back, the little graphics right before like
sure.
the selection where they had like they had Adrian's face or like silhouette, and then Tay's, and then Blue popped up in the middle right before the selection. I thought that was kind of well done. So
My hair's in a button, but it was Blue had a great graphic.
yes, she did. It's just a shame we'll never see it again because of the elimination. Laser focus, as CT pointed out, is a Rhymes version of Balls In, but instead of there always being a center target, the beam of light is going to move around. 3 rounds, offense, defense, 10 beams. You have to try to touch the beam while the other person is trying to stop you from getting near it. A little bit of a twist extra here as well. Your hands are tied in front of you, so not as much direct physical contact that you can have, but still a decent amount.
Yeah, I think that the hand tying to me was necessary so that you couldn't just like pull someone down to the ground and like hold them there. And then
Agreed.
That's easier than saying like you can't hold someone down and have TJ like policing
Yep.
everyone. I really, really liked this challenge, this elimination. I thought it was fabulous, a great improvement on some general principles we see in challenge classics. As you said, visually, I think it worked. It was interesting to watch. It was highly competitive. It was, to Tay's credit, who ends up winning this, I think it shows there's a huge threat. It's endurance, it's strategic, it's physical. I loved it. I think it's one of the best new eliminations like we've seen. That should be an instant classic.
Totally agree. Usually we see twists on like the core eliminations, like when we see Hall Brawl with pillows, and it's like, what are we doing here? This one was a great version. So I would say almost better than Balls into to that point. It was like a little extra layer to it. So very fun. I love that it also was stretched out. Like it wasn't just one round. Like it was 3 rounds. They each went offensive, defense, like 10 beams. Like it was a long stretch of time to let them learn the game a little bit, change things around from round to round. So I thought that was great, and they put on the show. Tay and Blue were great, very evenly matched the first 2 rounds. It's a shame that like Blue like kind of tired out and quit basically in round 3 because it was a great show. It was giving very similar. I mean, this other one was a lot more physical because of the hand-to-hand, but how physically demanding those first 2 rounds were. It was very much like that Sylvia Melissa elimination from many years back where they were like in like
with the like
pit,
slippery
basically.
balls.
Yeah, it was kind of it was basically like another version of Balls In. So it was giving vibes of that for the first couple of rounds. Until Blue fortunately had to tap out, but it was a great battle.
So like I'm here to defend Blue. I don't think she gave up because like she quit once, quote unquote quit once Tay surpassed her. Like Tay only had to get 5 to win. And then they showed her getting 6. And then they were like, Blue quit and Tay gets the rest of the 10. But like, I'm kind of confused why TJ didn't blow the horn at that point. Cause it wasn't. And part of me wonders if this game should be the cumulative number of lasers you hit in the 3 rounds. Like counts because, I like, to me, to make it fair, they have to run the full rounds, even if the person already wins. So let's say round 1, Blue gets 5, Tay gets 6. They can't call it after that, or, well, I guess they could because they've both been like running around for the same amount of time. Yeah. I was trying to think if you need to run out the clock on both rounds. I guess you could arguably say it's just equally as taxing to be the offense as it is the defense.
I think it is. I think it probably is.
In any case, it's very strange to me that they let the whole round 3 go. And if maybe it would be an improvement to make sure, like if, let's say Blue won the first 2 rounds and we didn't go to round 3, maybe there is something to say. It should be the cumulative number of lasers. So you're always running the full round. But in any case, I'm defending Blue. I don't think she like quit in some flop fashion. I think she had already lost and she knew it. Otherwise, beautiful performance from both women. Really incredible. Only undermined slightly by the absolute flop performance when they let Ben do the commentary on round 2, and he's just like, this is a true cat fight. Like, send that person home. Like, that is your only showing on this episode. Like, goodbye, Flop Tina. Never loved you.
Yeah, I was expecting much bigger things. Like, this would be fun. Let's have like a real like play-by-play caller for these eliminations. This would be fun. And it was just like the lowest hanging fruit of
rare. Like, I mean, he didn't do that, but like he might as well.
I mean, I guess the only saving grace is like Blue herself makes that joke like when she's like, "Oh, kitty, kitty, purr." This is like, mouse chasing a tail type elimination. But I don't know. He doesn't necessarily know that. I'm sure he's not watching Blue's kitty, kitty, purr YouTube videos and just kind of goes to that himself. So not the best look for Ben.
Yeah, but great challenge. Kudos to Tay. Honestly, I was rooting for Blue because I really loved Blue in the last few episodes, but I really didn't want Tay to go either. Like, I am happy to see more from Tay. 2 points to Tay, which I believe are
2
her first
points,
2 points.
Gryffindor.
I almost said that, but I was like, I don't even know Harry Potter. But I think those are Tay's first 2 points on the board.
On the board.
Welcome
Good for her.
the competition.
Love to see it. Yeah, and the next week we're going back to the A bracket, starting fresh, new pairs. Yeah, but so it is interesting. So we lost a male vet and a female rookie. So they could keep the same opposite stripe pairs for at least another cycle. And we'll check back in 2 weeks if they have to change course.
Yeah. Maybe you're right that they will just let it be like the last pair, because then in theory it's like, no disrespect, probably like Anissa, Naya, and CT. Anissa or Naya and CT.
Yeah.
If let's say it's rookie or like vet like, so sorry, vet. So like maybe they're okay with it like evening out as like the last 2 picks, whether they're both rookies or both vets, will just get put together.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we'll see.
I think we should keep doing the Newt of the week.
Oh, absolutely. That was a big hit. That got a lot of positive feedback. Yeah, the Newt so the Newt is the new thread of the week. And
which is what's great about it is the acronym is really just new T. So you could still say Newt of the week without it being repetitive, because of the week is not in the acronym. That's just beautiful.
It's not ATM machine. It's not,
yes,
it's not
exactly.
Like that. So we got the Newt of the week. So I mean, obviously, like the go-to is the person who wins the elimination. So besides Tay, is there anyone that you want to toss in for Newt of the week?
So Tay is not even in my top 2 nominations for Newt of the week.
Love it.
Did you like my graphic, by the way? Don't get used to it because my free trial of Canva is over. But if you want to look at the graphic, it's in the Facebook group. Congratulations.
Rob's redoing his studio. Get his corporate card and get him. This will give you a free subscription to Canva here.
I like the amount of times I've like tweeted that our podcast is going and tagged Rapgrams. Like, we can't get a retweet from Rob. I don't think he's gonna like sponsor my graphics for the Facebook group. Just happy to be here, honestly. So I have 2 nominations. My B nomination is a person who was like a breakout focus of the episode from a drama perspective, handled herself, I thought, unbelievably given the circumstances, and created the first Newt alliance that we've seen, strategically, and is full of like the sort of the strength of the new threats. So my B nomination is D.
Okay. Love it.
My A nomination has been the apple of my eye for the last 3 episodes. Brilliantly worked to calm down a very, very upset, riled up man, both successfully and hilariously for TV purposes, was the winner of this week's daily and the sole strategic decider of the direction of the vote. And that is why my nomination for Newt of the Week is Lekka.
Yeah, I think Lekka's the right call. I think this was, as much as there were a lot of other people involved in stuff, I think Lekka came out of it the best. She's the most set up alliance-wise. Clearly is one of the strongest women in the house. I think Lekka is an excellent pick for the Newt of the Week, and I co-sign. I have my Boot of the Week as well in my head, just because I think.
Before you make this pitch, I'm going to suggest a name change.
Okay.
So I think Boot of the Week is maybe more like we'd want them to go home. That's not necessarily what it is, and it's a little bit too similar to the Toot and Boot format of the Drag Race, RuPaul's Drag Race. I forget what they call it. Fashion photo review. What about the Mute of the Week?
The
MUTE. Like, press mute on you for a week.
Right.
Everybody on mute. Beyonce.
I have to let it simmer. It's not screaming yes to me like Newt of the
Okay.
week does. Um,
But yeah,
so
I
we
don't
can
think
go with
Newt
that
of the
for
week
now.
was screaming to you last week either.
No, it wasn't, but it's yelling loudly right now. So
Yeah. Well, tell the Newt to mute, That's
okay.
like
Right.
maybe I'll
Because the
make a
thing is, I don't
graphic.
like my mute of the week is not someone I want to be quiet. I just think I don't know. I got to come with a different. Regardless, my mute of the week is I want this moment memorialized in challenge history because it's one of my favorite type of moments. Is I think the mute of the week should be Leo for trying to spawn and Fugazi his way into free 2-for-1 drinks and not paying his share of the pie. So I want, as much as I respect the funness of that move, that is very much mute boot move of trying just to like get someone to pay for your 2-for-1 drinks. So I would like to crown him
But
as
that's
my
an
mute of the week.
amazing move. Like, I don't think you're.
But it's mute like
Let's
it's
step
being
back.
a mute.
Let's step back. What is the negative? What is the opposite of the Newt? I understood the award to be like the person who flops. It's like the flop award. It's the flute. It's like they flopped this week. Like Derek C last week.
Sure.
Leo's move, it's not like we've seen him have any blowback as a result of it. And I think it's one of the most like iconic modern day fights
It's
in challenge
iconic,
history.
but like it's being it's like Jersey Shore. It's like when Vinny calls when Paulie calls Vinny a chooch. Like he's being a chooch of like trying to snake into like the free 2-for-1 drinks. So like he's
is that what Derek was doing? Like I don't think that's the
no,
like,
it's very different. It's very
that's
different.
that's like the Brian's pet of the week. That's the Sunny award, It's like
Sunny.
you're Brian's pet. The Sunny.
Well, then I'll also nominate Ashley for making sure TJ being the dread date night TJ's gets crowned too. So I don't know. Now I'm torn between them two.
Yeah, I mean, my nomination for mute of the week is Will. Like it's just like
That's fair.
you flopped Tina. I don't even think it's gonna hurt his chances as much as you do. Like it was a flop move. It was totally it honestly, even if they were exes, it would have been a lot. But from all we can tell, like the most they've done is hook up Max a couple of times. I think he gets the floppy for me. So
that's fair.
What if we can't agree? We could put it to the Facebook group and join the Facebook group.
I think what we need
to
settle on is we need a definition and a name of like the mute boot.
All right, we will take this to the chat. Join the conversation.
We have another 20 episodes to go for this season, so we got a lot more time to suss this out.
Yeah, so the mute is TBD of the week. The nominees are Leo and Will. But we know the Newt, and that's really what makes someone a Newt is they're just definitive. It's like that's the Newt of the week.
Definitive Lekka. I think that's it. Like Peter is also at like very low percent, and I don't want to have to run down and grab a charger. So this feels like a good time to.
I have some quick social media, but I think
quick social media. No, go for it.
Okay, quick social media. Ben has been making TikToks, including exposing Rogan for having a girlfriend for 4 years, which is maybe not an exposure. Like maybe we just didn't care to look into his relationship status. So like Rogan did cheat on his girlfriend. He only was on the show for one episode, one episode in episode 0, and ruined his relationship. So that's pretty funny.
Great hit.
Derek versus. Sorry, go ahead.
That was a great average of one episode per relationship ruined. Can't get better than
that. Derek versus Justin. So like Reddit posted a compilation of Derek's like social media response. It really kind of like apparently Derek has gotten like a lot of heat. And one of the posts he was like, Justin, I hope you're at least enjoying this. Like you're welcome. And like calling out the haters, like telling him he's not a part of the LGBT community anymore. Just like really aggressive, weird stuff.
Jeez.
I tried to see if Justin had responded to be like, hey guys, it's not that serious. Derek and I squash it. All I could find was Derek had made a TikTok that I screenshotted just like the text. And the first frame was when Derek told me he had my back as a gay in the house and would not vote for me into elimination. me when I wake up and he lied and voted me in with like a face, and then but also me when I win the elimination, come back in the house and start war. So I really think Justin is like feeding into it. I don't think he cares that Derek's getting shit. She's fine. Whatever. And then like one thing we didn't talk about, this we could save. This is just like Nerese kind of confirming that she thinks she's banned from the show after the Horacio and Derek of it all. I mean, we talked about it a little. She had an exchange on Twitter with Scott Yeager from Challenge Mania where someone was like, why are you not on this new season? You should be there. She said, pretty sure they just don't like me anymore, but it's okay. What's meant for me will always be mine. And if it's not, it's because something better is coming. Shrug emoji. Scott Yeager said, it's just one season. You will def be back. And Nerese said, we all know it's more than just one season. But like I said, it's okay. Either way, prayer hands emoji.
That'll do it. There you go. Hate to see it for Nerese.
It would be a big mistake, I think, if like that, all of that speculation from everybody. I know she like went in on them hard, but like that's why you love her. Like she's got a boyfriend who she loves, who's in the family, and she's outspoken. So like you're gonna have to take a few L's.
Agreed.
That's it.
Alrighty. You can subscribe, robhaswebsite.com/challenge feed. Follow me on Twitter, _Cohen_, TikTok, challenge wrap-ups. We'll follow you.
Follow me at Lash Tweets. Check out the 32 Fans Patron podcast. We're back talking about the best quote in Seinfeld history. That project started in 2020. Another project started in 2020. New Girl, Old Guy. We tried to drop the anti-penultimate, which is the third to last episode, had to be 2 parts. So part 1 is available. Part 2 coming this week.
Exciting stuff. Almost at the end. Wow, what a journey.
Saying that for multiple seasons of the challenge.
Very true. We'll be back next week for episode 3. Till then, have a good one.
This is RHAP. We know reality TV.